All right, good morning, good afternoon. It's the afternoon now. Good afternoon. Welcome to the 4398 Capstone final presentations. I hope you're as excited as I am. We have a lot of really great projects this semester. But first, I kind of want to just introduce what is the Capstone, right? The CI's Capstone is designed to allow students to utilize the culmination of their previous coursework and outside experiences to build software as a team. This presents a lot of interesting challenges for students, as working in a team-based environment is it's not always easy. Students heavily collaborate on their projects, brainstorming using Jira project management software, collaborating on their code through GitHub. And many students also choose to use modern frameworks such as React.js for developing web apps, stopping by office hours to run through logic and design. And students also take on hardware challenges, whether it be soldering, 3D printing, or working with embedded systems like the Raspberry Pi microcomputer. But developing software is not just about writing code. We also ask students to document their projects from proposal to requirements to design documents to API specification. We use a website builder known as Docosaurus to maintain these artifacts. So we have 9 projects this semester, which is kind of insane. They're all, very high energy projects. This morning, we had language learning Discord bot, Be Real meets Slack, and the code review bot. Now coming up is the LOMO project, garden sensor array, and then SmartSpeech. Later on throughout the afternoon, if you're still around, we'll have another online demonstration of Study Sync, Smart Mirror, and AR Pet Pals. All right, so yeah, with that, LOMO, you're up. Right.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome to LOMO. My name's Alan.
I'm Andy.
I'm Emma. I'm Carla. I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Jonathan. The gaming industry is ever-changing and growing, with communities constantly active in every part of the world. With the world of gaming becoming so complex, it's difficult to keep track of it all. It's time to turn that fear of missing out into a lack of missing out. Welcome to LOMO, an application that changes the way we see in-person gaming experiences. LOMO is designed to connect gamers in real time, transforming local spaces into your next gaming event. LOMO utilizes an interactive map to create and discover beacons, real-world locations representing gaming events where players can meet to play their favorite games. Our interface allows users to create beacons, specifying the game, time, and place. Gamers can browse these beacons on our LOMO map, which displays gatherings nearby. Let's take a look at the real-time environment of LOMO.
What's up?
Hey, not much, Carla. You want to hang out later, play a bit of Smash Bros?
Oh, totally. That'd be so fun. But wait, kind of bad. And you're like really good.
That's okay. I can make a beacon on LOMO and we can get some more people involved with it.
Beacon. Oh, it'd be fun too. What if you made it a tournament?
Ooh, that can be real fun. Let me show you what I mean real quick.
Yeah.
So it's this cool app I found called LOMO. It's about in-person gaming. So let me log on real quick and just show you what I'm talking about here. So if we log on, of course, it's going to give us a little warning. We want to make sure that we're doing this in safe public places or just with your friends.
Of course.
So you can see all these different beacons and you can see different games that you could play out, join in, and there are already people signed up. So let me make a quick new one. So we can go make a new beacon real easily. All we have to do, just type in some information. So let me type in the game. And we can just select the game we want right there. So I'm going to go ahead, select Smash Bros. Ultimate, and it'll fill in all the information. Of course, this is going to be on a Switch.
Of course.
And let's just do a 1v1 tournament with a whole bunch of different people. All right, so we're probably going to want at least 8 players for that. And I spelled tournament wrong, obviously. So we're going to need 8 controllers. Thankfully, I already have 4 of them. So some people are going to have to bring their own, but that's okay. They'll be able to figure it out. And let's go with this building right here, the Temple of Science. What's this place called again?
Science education.
There it is. Whatever the name of this place is. Let's say from today, from 2 to 3:30. Just like you know, the time we're going to be here.
Yeah.
Because we would much rather be doing gaming in class than whatever we're doing. So it's really simple. And I can just confirm it and you can see it's
Whoa.
created. And also we have this cool list view where you can see all the different beacons. And you can see we have ours right here with a whole bunch of spots.
Oh,
Why,
wow.
why don't you make an account and just sign up for it
Yeah.
real quick? It's real easy.
Sure. That sounds so fun. Let me get on that LOMO you said, right?
Yep.
All right. Oh, but I don't have an account. Oh, wait, I could stop missing out right here.
Yeah.
Put my name as my username so everyone knows it's me. And then
Oh.
go back to
Are you sharing your screen? Wouldn't be a gaming presentation without us. So.
Okay. So yeah, let me put my email in. Totally a real email. Don't try to steal my password, please. And
Uh-oh.
This presentation was brought to you
Oh.
by LOMO.
Looks like there are some security features. Make sure you have the right password in place.
true, that could be it. I was typing too fast. Wait, try that again.
Can't be too secure with your password. Always make sure you have the right information in.
There we go.
You should tell everybody so we can remember.
Okay, so you said we're playing Smash Brothers. I see it right there.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and join?
All right. Oh wow, there's already people joining our beacon. I'm so excited to play with everyone. Let's go join. I've always just used your controllers, unfortunately.
That's okay. It's all right. You could just enter 0 into that field.
All right, and then am I in it? Yep, there it
Looks
is.
like you're already in it.
Cool. Can't
Yeah.
wait to play with everyone later.
Yeah, sounds great. Let's go
Awesome.
set it up.
Yeah.
Emma, try to hang out?
Oh, sorry, Alan. I'm actually gonna go play in this Smash tournament.
What's that game? Smash Bros. I never heard of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I could probably ask the host if you want to join.
Can I still come hang out? Okay. Oh, is it, can I still hang out? All right,
Yeah,
let's
let
go.
me just
Let's go,
ask. First, I gotta log in. Oh, I see the beacon. Oh, there's already 4 people. Let's join. You know what? I have 2 controllers.
Oh,
Oh,
word.
yep. Look at that. I already joined.
You think I could I come play too?
Yeah, let me just ask.
Wait, you can comment on beacons?
Yeah. Oh, my comment should be there, so hopefully the host will respond to me soon.
Dang. All right. Well, is this only for Smash Bros or for other games too?
No, there's actually a lot of other games. Why don't we just check out one I've made? Oh, wow, there's 3 people here.
Oh shoot. No way.
Oh, let's join in. I will not let it go. Awesome.
Well, see some of those beacons though, it's hard to see. Is there an easier way to look at them?
Yeah, let's just look at list view real quick. And this displays all the beacons currently on the map. Oh, this is the one that we're supposed to join. Let's see if the host responded. No, you can't tell. I'm sorry.
That hurts, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
All right, hey, you know what? I changed my mind. You're cool. You can come.
I appreciate it. Next feature.
If anybody's looking for the beacon to play Smash Brothers, we're meeting up over here.
Oh, all right.
Let's go.
Let's all
All
play.
seven of us together.
Yay!
But wait a minute. Don't we have like one spot left?
Oh, we need one more. That's right.
Right, it
Yeah.
can't be a full tournament without
We
A.
need
We
one
need
extra.
Tom.
Hmm.
Would you like to play?
Sure. Ladies and gentlemen, Lomo.
This has been Lomo.
Oh, that was incredible, guys. No, that was really awesome. Scrunch it together. Yeah, so what was like the most challenging portion of this project?
Oh my gosh, the back end.
The back. Getting back itself.
Yeah, setting up we used a PostgreSQL database with Supabase. So getting that set up and then connected to the front end in real time definitely took a lot of like configuration. It took a lot of time, and because we couldn't have any real time data sent to the front end until the back end was set up, that was a kind of a decent blocker that we had. But yeah, anything else?
Also took a few years off the end of our life.
Does the audience have any questions? Any questions?
So what inspired you to make an app based around like gaming? People come together. You guys have-
I can answer that. So, when I was coming up with this proposal, I thought about a problem that I had faced, on campus and just in general socially. As a huge gamer, I really kind of struggled with finding like a good group of people to play certain games with. A lot of the clubs are already, organized groups or cliques of people that only play like one specific game. And as I'm sitting in my single room in Morgan North, I'm sitting thinking, how many people are around me that are playing a game that I would love to play with them, but I can't find them, like wherever they are, like whether it's on, from like a 2000s game to like literally like a game of Dungeons and Dragons, right? Like, where can I find just people that want others to play with them? That rich, like in person or even online afterwards experience of gaming.
Any other questions?
And to be clear, this can be used with in-person or virtual games alike, because then when you create a beacon, it uses Twitch API to autofill the games. So any kind of game you want to play, and that game image is displayed in the beacon, as you can see.
And this
It's
includes
also-
like physical games
Yes,
as well.
it's not limited to video games. You can pick whatever game you'd like. We have beacons for Magic the Gathering, so you can have decks of cards. Dungeons and Dragons, you can bring your own dice sets or any other minis that you might want. That's all up to interpretation. We just wanted to have an app that helps bring people together to play, because that's really what we care about.
That's really awesome.
Alex?
Is it currently on the App Store? Is there some means that we could be able to access it outside of this presentation at this point?
Currently, it is accessible via deployment. Whether it is ready for public use, the plan would be to start at campus locations. Due to security needing to be refined over time, we would start on campuses and other places where like gamers are likely to like want to look for each other, such as like conventions, or like say you have like a YouTuber that like wants to make a meetup of like like-minded folks or whoever, right? They can put a beacon up have like 100 people join, right? And then they get to see who's joining. They get to see comments relating to that specific event in that specific place, like say in the venue. So that would be the
To answer your question though about where you could find it, we currently have a website launched with Netlify. We would have plans to make this into an app in the future, but we still have a few more kinks to sort out with that.
Especially since there's a lot of like sensitive location data that's being transmitted, so we need to make sure that all of that is thoroughly authenticated before we'd like to deploy it out to the public.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
So there's some more questions about like the deployment on YouTube. Just asking, you know, how did you deploy the application, and did you have any struggles doing that? The deployment queen.
I think the hardest part was just deploying the back end, because there isn't really a lot of services that are low cost and free and within budget, I guess you could say. So eventually, after, you know, probably getting attacked and a few other things, I eventually switched it over to Professor Applebaum's paid account. So made everything work.
You've been footing the bill for us?
You told us to use class resources, so I don't know what.
Apparently so. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
thanks.
Nice. Okay. Still have more questions, but did you have fun?
Oh, we had fun.
Yeah. That's awesome. What do you feel like out of this project you learned the most about, just in general?
The Google Maps API was brought to test their patience.
Yes.
Agreed there. I can't agree more. Any other things or thoughts?
I think the process of full stack development as a whole was like really interesting, especially for an idea that had started as just like a random thought in my head, a simple prompt of like blank meets blank turning into what you just saw. Really, like from mock-up that I just kind of made in like Google Slides, like really quickly, like, maybe it will happen, maybe it won't, to like, oh my gosh, it happened.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And like using like skills and development processes like Jira and like all these other ones we used to develop the app with that are transferable to the professional marketplace was something that was a very nice side benefit to what was already a very fun project to develop.
Well, congratulations, guys. It's really it was really a great demo.
Before we go, as much as you have had questions for us, we do have questions for you. So what would you like to see in LOMO? We have a survey that we will hand out shortly after this presentation. Write whatever you feel, any ideas that you think would be suitable for the future.
Awesome. I know, that's amazing. Yeah. I hope you get the information you're looking for.
Try and share them. We might not have enough QR codes for everyone.
Like grab a few per table.
We do plan to continue developing this and hope so. Any features and feedback that you guys would love to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's genius.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Closer.
I know.
A little bit closer.
That's why they pay me with big bucks.
Closer.
That much closer. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
have fun.
Perfect.
Oh, I love
Yeah, so YouTube can also leave their responses.
This is
as
just
well.
chaos. This is mass chaos.
A little bit. What's an E3 presentation without the stuff?
Right.
Yeah.
2008.
Yeah.
Seriously, amazing job.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Take them down. That was LOMO.
Let's go to LOMO. We
It
did
is.
Oh boy. Right. Go for it. Okay. Yeah. So next up is Garden Sensor Ray. Whenever you're ready, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Give us a 2-minute.
All right. Why is this thing so fat? Yeah, you guys want, I think there were other comments like just, go to the screen. Yeah. Yeah, Katrina's. I think maybe. Yeah, I think she purely subscribed to the YouTube channel. It's good motivation. That's pretty smart. Yeah, there's not much I can do about that. I think given the circumstances.
Regina, would you like to put your laptop like right here so you'll be able to have easy access to whenever you're presenting?
That's a good question.
So we have easy access to your website. Jim said, yes. When she's presenting the website and try to show the graphs on you water. Okay, so the order it's going to be myself. Sam is right here. Try to get you guys all. Georgie, are you coming? Absolutely.
Oh, no, I know. And it was just running, so I quit it now. Yeah, so hopefully they're not. You don't understand.
My hair is looking crazy.
Oh, you look good. You all look good.
I'm guessing the image thing.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why.
Like I
You
said,
saw me try to do
it's
it.
probably a really minor syntax issue. Yes. So, fantastic. Okay. Well, we're ready at this point, so we'd be able to begin. Whenever you're ready, Professor.
This is just bugging me. Look at that. Now you're good. I'm not gonna mess with this anymore.
Okay, perfect.
It's all you.
Thank you, appreciate it. Hey, good afternoon, ladies. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon, all. Really happy to be able to present to you something that we've been putting in a whole bunch of lot of work towards. And what we want to present to you today is the garden sensor array. So what is the garden sensor array? Why the garden sensor array is something I want to be able to communicate with you before I dive into this amazing team that really was able to help develop it. The garden sensor array is basically the concept of trying to accumulate an array of sensors in your garden beds, or maybe even inside your own home, and being able to tell you whether or not the sensors can read for your plant's health. Because unfortunately, I don't speak plant. I can try talking to this plant, the plant won't talk to me. I've been trying, it don't work. But, however, the sensor is able to actually communicate with the plant, let us know like whether or not it's receiving enough sunlight. Does it have enough soil moisture? Is the temperature too hot? Is it sunny out on the beach? We don't know. The plant will now, through the sensor, be able to tell us. Don't recommend putting your plants on the beach though. However, with that being said, why? Because at the end of the day, you can just like look the plan and be like, oh, it's wilting. Okay, that kind of sucks, but it's fine. I'll come back. It's a lot of working hours that a lot of people in community gardens in Philadelphia have put in significant amounts of effort in order to be able to reduce the food shortages that occur in communities that do not have the capacities to have those community markets that might have fresh food available. The biggest reason for that is a worker shortage, and the working hours have to be put forward in order to be able to water their plants, check if they're doing fine, and coming back and forth and doing all this nonsense instead of them being able to have to work their own daily jobs that they have to do so that they can make their means ends, right? So Garden Sensor Array provides a means to provide remote access to their sensors inside their garden and being able to provide maybe a deficit in the food shortage that's going on forward. To be able to discuss more in technical details and be able to discuss to you actually the materials going forward, we're going to be discussing 3 core elements. We're going to be discussing the sensor control unit, or the SKU that you see here. We're going to also discuss our hub, which is kind of like the manager for all the individual sensor control units. We're also going to be discussing our website. The person I'm going to be handing off to you right now is going to be explaining to you the sensor control unit in particular. Sam, please take it away. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Sam Gandolf-Lucia, and so I'm just going to talk about a little bit what Alex called the sensor control unit, or what we refer to in short as the SKU. So here's one that this is kind of what it would actually look like in a garden. Then here's one where this is like electronically what's going on inside. And so the reason they're called sensor control units is because they each have several sensors wired up to them for monitoring the conditions in the garden, which are the specific things we're keeping track of are the soil moisture levels, the soil temperature, and the sunlight levels. And another big goal for us with these was to make them as energy efficient as possible. So what that means is if you're a community gardener, you don't want to be switching out the batteries in this like every month, because that'd be a ton of work and probably ultimately cost you more than the convenience of our project is really providing you. So in order to make it as energy efficient as possible, the way these work is they communicate wirelessly over Bluetooth with our central hub, and they only ever are really active when they're having data read from them. So the rest of the time, and that will happen on a set interval, maybe every few hours or so, so that gardeners can keep track of set intervals throughout the day. And the rest of the time, they're basically just sleeping. So they save a ton of energy, and they shouldn't have to have batteries replaced for a very long time. And now to talk more about how the hub works, which is, like I said, what these communicate with, I'm going to hand it over to my teammate, Giorgio.
Thank you, Sam. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Giorgio, and this is what the hub device would look like. One of these can connect to 1 or up to 4 sensor control units. And the way it works is basically this listens for the signal from the sensor control units, and it basically communicates to the website using Wi-Fi to allow you to see the data that's being transmitted from these sensors anywhere remotely, and also in real time with a short delay in between each reading. And now I'll hand it over to Gabe to show you the website.
All right, hi guys, I'm Regina, and now I'll be showing you the website. So when you first get to the website, you're presented with the login. But for this presentation, we're going to register. So let's register. Okay, so let me just make something up. Like they said before, don't steal my stuff. So let's log in and see what we see. Okay, so as of right now, because I just registered my account, we have no hubs. So this is your hub page. This is the first thing you see when you register or when you log in. Your hub page will display all the hubs that are connected to your account. So let's get started with that. Add hub. So if you were a gardener and you wanted to check on your plants, you would usually name the hub based on whatever you were checking. So let's say I want to grow some grapes, even though I don't know how that would work. I wonder if that would be a tree. Okay. So automatically, we see that I've added a hub to my account, and it immediately pops up. So But we also see that there's no numbers. So let's go and add a sensor to get our numbers set up. How did I spell it? Okay. Great, sensor. All right, so now I've just added my sensors. Oh, sorry. Sometimes you have to refresh the page. Oh, sorry.
Websites are hard.
Yeah, true that. All right, so I have just logged in to the. So sorry about that. Sometimes the sensor, sometimes if you enter the sensor wrong, it won't show. So just to show that it works, we're gonna go log out and we're gonna go to one that does work.
There's always a backup plan in case something
Always,
flickers.
always.
We do currently right now, we're having 2 live sensors. As she's logging in, I'll be able to take over from it. We have 2 live sensors right now communicating information about the plants that you see here. We also have 1 plant in a remote location. Maybe I'll see it there.
Oh, nice.
The remote location? Or
Yeah, this is pretending to be the remote location away from.
Okay.
It's outside the camera, so it's not.
It's not here. Oh, okay. So I put the wrong. So sorry about that, guys. This isn't how it usually is. Okay, let's try that
This is
again.
why we're not communications majors.
Yeah.
We decided to go into like a difficult degree.
All right. So who needs grapes anyway? Let's do it. Let's do a different one. What should we do? Corn.
Still have 4. Cardinal is the sensor.
Everybody does like corn, especially like popcorn and
I
everything
hate
like that.
corn. Corn is terrible. Monocultures are bad for the environment. Don't grow corn.
It's not the juice.
Corn sensor.
And then cardinal.
Cardinal. Like that? All right. Let's see what we got. All right.
There we go.
There you go. It's working. Wow, real numbers.
God, there's numbers.
All right, so as you can see, we have some numbers finally popping up because we added our sensors. If I refresh, it might not be. Okay. All right. I wanted to go back to show you more about the page. Okay. Okay, now we're popping, y'all. Okay, sorry about that. All right, now we're popping. Okay, so let's go through the My Hubs page and what it is. So when you first log in or register and you finally have your hub card showing, you're going to see all of the hubs displayed such as this. So the hub cards are split into 3 sections. The leftmost section is a photo card section. So if you wanted to add a photo to know which hub it is. And then the middle part is the averages of your SKUs. And then to the right, it's going to be an icon status box. So it tells you if everything is looking good and in range, but if the colors aren't green or if it's alarming, then that's how you know, oof, there's something wrong. I should probably click on this hub card to know that I should check on it more. There's also a date feature. So if you wanted to see the averages for the day or the averages for the week, the averages for the month or averages for the year, of course, because we only had a couple of weeks to get stuff, month and year are not going to change, but you get the idea. So you click on the middle to go to your hub page. So let's take it there. Okay, Corn's hub page. So the hub page is pretty much a portal to your SKU page, but the Corn's hub page does let you know what's going on with the averages and all the things you should know before you get to SKU. And also shows all the sensors that are connected to the hub. So we know that we have Corn sensor because we just put it in. So let's go to Corn sensor. So this is the Core Sensors SKU page. So yeah, I named it weird. I'm sorry about that. But as we can see, we have our data showing for today, this week, and the month and the year. And so let's go over what this means. So if we look at today's averages, we're doing pretty good so far because good is from 5 to 32, so we're doing pretty good. Moisture, we're doing a little bit much. We're a little high. No, sorry. No, we're doing pretty good. And then sunlight, it's a little bit high. It's a little hot, but that's okay. So hot days are good for you too. And then below, as you can see, we have graphs, and I'll send it over to Gabriel to tell you more about that.
Hello, my name is Gabriel, and I was in charge of the graphs. So the graphs are composed of data that has been stored and properly maintained. As you can see, maybe the graph actually updates in real time based on whether a data is changed. So if sunlight, moisture, or sunlight changes, it will the graph will update as well as the averages as well. And yeah, that's basically it for me. That's for the graphs.
So this is pretty much most of the website because we wanted to keep it as simple as possible. We had everyone in mind, including those who are older who are community farmers, and we didn't want to add a bunch of stuff to get confusing because the process is already extreme. So once you're done with all of that, you can simply just log out and you're out. Thank you.
A lot of the things that we discussed today, and obviously comes with embedded systems and with software in general. We really wanted to be able to bring out computer science into the reality and side of the spectrum, because at the end of the day, code is just code to the average user, and they have no idea what regeneration is, right? So going forward with this project, you might ask, oh, have you guys ever messed with embedded systems prior to this? Zero, absolutely not. But it was a growing thing, and it was absolutely a lot of effort being put forward by this team to be able to provide the sensor being able to go forward. We do intend to be able to continue development for this project. We would love any feedback that you have. So we're opening the floor to questions now. So please let us know what you have.
That's actually a question. The application for this you're saying is like a community garden, correct?
Correct.
In terms of like the hardware, obviously the unit cost would change if you were to manufacture it. But in terms of the unit that you made right there, about how much does it cost of materials, if you don't mind me asking?
That's absolutely a fair question. That was something I was trying to consider, especially considering competitors. So right now, if you're looking for a garden sensor right now on Amazon, let's suppose, that gives the exact same measurements as us, you're looking at roughly around $30 to $40. That is not Bluetooth capable. That does not have the capability of wireless communication to a website. Right now, with the sensors that we all have attached and with the 3D printed case, because the intent was to try to keep it as cheap as possible, is that we're now able to at least keep this below $20. That's including Pico W, that's including all the manufactured pieces. So that was, thank you for bringing it up. Probably should have brought it up in the presentation. That'd be cool.
So that does come with a few caveats. So it's about $20 per scoop. The hub itself, which handles multiple scoops, it's essentially just a Raspberry Pi 4, which, you know, if you can't get them, but if you have a Raspberry Pi 4, it's pretty much just plug and play. So yeah, the cost scales depending on how much garden you have, essentially. So it can be relatively cheap if you're looking for small scale, but even as it scales up, it's not that bad.
Yeah, especially against competitors, it's still going to be beating them.
Yeah, so basically the sensors are the most inexpensive piece. The hub is the expensive part.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just like, you know, we always try to keep those hidden fees below, but no, not this time. The Raspberry Pi 4, yes, it might be considerably more expensive than the screws themselves, but still generally way better than you trying to buy like 6 or 7 individual wireless sensors from that don't even communicate to each other. Yes.
Yeah, I know that Xiaomi has the Flora, but it doesn't have the sunlight sensor, right? I think it's just moisture, right?
For which one did you say, Xiaomi?
Has
yes.
the Flora, but I think it's just moisture.
It is just moisture, and I believe that one
doesn't have a hub either.
Yeah, it doesn't have a hub.
Directly to your phone, which kind of sucks.
And it's an individual at a point. You can connect multiple to it, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, you could do home assisted, but then that requires like very technical.
That's the future intent, is to create automation for this. So like, let's suppose it does detect low soil moisture. Maybe you can automate a sprinkler system and react to an API call to it as well.
Yeah. Are the Picos really that cheap?
They are ridiculously cheap. Yeah, I was pretty surprised by it as well. They're roughly you're hitting around $4 on like if you're just going generally straight to the chip manufacturer.
This is the Pico W specifically.
Yes.
Yeah. Pairs mention it.
It's pretty competitive even with Esperif
Yeah.
prices, so.
Yeah.
Yes, what's your question?
I had two questions.
I'm glad, thank you. Sorry, I just want to make sure that I hit everybody.
One question I was just wondering, I noticed on the hub page, like you had some information, it would like indicate if like the moisture level was low or if it was high.
Mhm.
How does that vary like from plant to plant? Does that matter like if you're planting a cactus or if you're planting like something like aloe or
Yeah.
something?
Thank you. That's an excellent.
Like, how am I supposed to know what the right levels are, or are you connected to some sort of almanac database that has all this?
Yeah, so thank you for that question. I do appreciate it. We did try to consider like, do we want to try to maybe have like ChatGPT tell us like what's the average thing to it, right? But at the end of the day, we decided to go against it because you can have a northeast plant say, this is the correct temperature, this is the correct moisture for me and this specific genus of plant, and then you could go to the southeast of the same country and have a completely different metric. So there is a farmer's almanac for a reason. Unfortunately, we do not have the expertise in our sensor control units or our website yet at that point.
Are those constraints modifiable? Like, can you set what's like too high and too low?
I think that's an excellent feature we need to consider in the future, but no, not this time.
How do you guys handle the data from the sensor? Like, do you guys do like multiple frame or is it always the exact thing?
How it's read from the sensors?
Yeah, like how you read the data from the sensor to the app.
Yeah, so like I said, they're basically asleep most of the time. The way it works is the Bluetooth implementation that runs on them runs in what's called like a thread safe background. So they're always asleep until like an event occurs. It receives a packet that triggers a function callback. So when it retrieves a packet that's like read the characteristic, that's when it will read all the sensors, and that's just like simple. There's like libraries we use to read from the sensors. So it reads them all into variables and writes them to our string for sending to the hub, and that hub handles formatting it so that it can be read by the website easily.
Thank you for your question.
Would you say this is more for like expert users then, given like the information you need to know about like planning a plan and like keep taking care of it, moisture levels? Is this more for like expert users, or could this be like for hobbyists, like new people entering the plan?
I understand your question. So like the ranges that we're giving right now for your sensor readings is going to be generally applicable to pretty much any edible product, that plant that you're trying to do. You're trying to do potatoes, you're trying to do tomatoes, you're trying to do corn. They're not, if you really just want to know whether or not, did it get wet recently? Okay, no, it did not. I need to take care of that. Is it receiving sunlight? No, it's not. I need to take care of that. And is it too cold out for my plants? The level of expertise knowledge that you're asking, like, do I need to know whether or not it's 32 degrees Celsius outside to make sure that my plant's alive? Yes, I would expect the farmer to at least have that level of concept. Like, yes, during wintertime, maybe plant don't grow. True. Like, but at the same time, I would like to add that expertise knowledge easily to part of the app, because that's something that obviously blocks a lot of people from growing their own food. So thank you for your question.
Oh, I just want to like, how easy is it to like install the sensor and take it away, either for first time users or like say you have it installed in, you need to till the soil or something, so you got to take it out. Do you have to even take it out to take it in? Oh, look at that.
So this was the general concept, is that this is something we were going to have. I didn't put stakes in this one because I didn't want to punch through my roots, because I only have a potted plant at this time. But the intent is that we'll have stakes on the bottom of this casing. The sunlight sensor is going to stick out on top, with the soil moisture sensor, it just sticking out just barely enough so that the sensor's tips are at the end, so be able to punch in the soil and tell you whether or not it's wet or not. Yes.
Say I'm an avid gardener who might be an expert in my small scale. Is there a way for you guys to manufacture like a smaller version of the SKUs, because they're kind of bulky and I only have my lawn?
I understand your question. So you're asking, is this one able to be put even in a smaller amount? So right now, I am trying to minimize it even smaller than this. The biggest problem is trying to fit the Pico W and the battery inside with enough space to prevent any moisture from going inside. That's kind of the biggest point, because even the soil moisture themselves, we're talking about, if I connected everything from length on down, we're talking about close to 80 centimeters, or 80 millimeters, not centimeters, which is just enough to basically almost reach up to here. So I'm trying to pack it in more, maybe go into a more horizontal route. We'll see.
Would putting it in like one system package or PCB help with making the shape smaller, or are there just some components that are just long?
I don't have the answer for your question at this time right now, but I would like to be able to press into that research and find out for you.
There's also a weirder, well, there's another constraint to keep in mind. You have to both have the soil sensor in the soil, but the sunlight sensor be above like leaves or whatever can block that. So it does have to be some sort of tall, just so it can capture both elements. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you for bringing up that point as well.
Last one, I swear.
No, unless the professor kicks me off the top, I love all these questions. I'm sure we're doing good.
You've got YouTube questions too. We haven't even gotten to that.
Speed round.
What's the can it withstand like harsh weather conditions and be like tested back?
So we were just discussing this a few moments ago. Apparently the casing can handle up to 140 degrees. And I don't know, I specifically made this so I could take this right off. The dome is also made around the specific chip here so that it can protect against harsh sunlight. So you're not frying the chip on the inside. And also the stemma soil sensor that we use as well I poured direct water onto the chip. I was just like, can it work? And it does. So that was pretty impressive. Stemma makes some good stuff. But as far as, am I expecting this in harsher climates, like I'm talking about tundras or even desert? If at that point you're trying to plant stuff at that point, good for you, but my sensor ain't gonna make it.
Yeah, actually, so just sort of to transition to the YouTube question, it was asked, can you talk about your process for like actually testing this project? I'm not making that up. That was a question. Yes, I swear, wasn't me.
Yeah. Sorry. Did they specify in the question, was it software or hardware testing or just both?
I would guess that she's asking like, like how did you test the hardware, especially since they're from the previous Capstone to like, did you what were the testing methodologies that you took? Maybe the 3 layers that we do in the class. How'd that work?
So first started, we had to first check whether or not the SKU itself could survive, or the sensor control unit. So we knew and understood that by placing the hardware outside for a period of time, which I've done so, and within a case, it lasts for a pretty long time, still able to broadcast with no issue. And then came into the software portion of the testing, where we have unit tests that we put up on GitHub just to check our logic to make sure that's also working as well. Our hubs themselves, we're pretty much sitting for hours after the class waiting for it to crash so we can see if the software can keep on going as well. The website has been done through some really rigorous fault checks and fault testing. Still a lot of things to figure out, of course, but we're not afraid of any challenges coming forward. So.
Yeah. On the technical side, can you talk about how you maybe unit tested the hardware? Because that's something that is unusual for the course.
Right.
So I know you did do that. So how did that work?
So unit testing for the hardware itself, so what was the biggest argument was whether or not the sensors could actually communicate to the Pico, and whether or not the sensors would be able to accommodate for max values that go beyond it, or even minimum values. For instance, the sensors will sometimes read that there's soil moisture and you put on Gatorade on it. And I'm just like, well, I don't want Gatorade to give off water. So there was a lot of testing on that end as well, creating the unit test to check the logic on the individual sensors, talking to the Pico W. We created that atmosphere. We also just basically put it outside for a long period of time. We did a 24-hour, a 6-hour, and an 8-hour test on
it. More YouTube questions. Thoughts on adding alerts that contact you when certain conditions are met? For example, your ficus is currently engulfed in flames.
Yes, we are planning on we are planning on adding that in our next iteration, of course, because of time. We can only give what we have today, but that is something that we were thinking about because since we have access to the information, their email, it'll be very simple to just send the email alerts. So that is something we plan to do, but time restraint.
Sorry, an addition to that question. We're working on a feature. We have quite just barely missed it, but the concept is that we will be able to give you live feed photo documentation of your plants as well. So the way the intent is that the hub will be basically planted wherever you decide to be able to view your garden, and over a period of time, it'll send you a snapshot. And who doesn't love like putting down a photo album as their plants grow as they continue as ongoing? So a little time lapse as well. So you know, you can also see your plant being on fire as well if you want to, but definitely some way to be able to keep track of it as well.
Yeah, that actually touches on a pretty fun point too. The camera module was just another one of many sensors you could kind of like add onto the platform. Because right now we have the soil sensor, the moisture sensor, and a camera, which actually only failed the integration testing as we pushed the site live, which makes me really sad because I really like that. But there is nothing really stopping you or us specifically, I guess. Stopping you, there's a ton of stuff. But there's nothing stopping us from adding like any number of other sensors to these little units. Like I've personally been working on some projects where I kind of have a LED strip attached to them that kind of like gives me direct like feedback. It's like local feedback as opposed to logging into the site. But they're fairly modular little platforms as long as you can get the libraries right. Like the pipeline makes it such that you can pretty much send any data from point A to point B, which is pretty cool.
Did we exhaust you all with all the questions? Yeah?
You guys rocked this presentation. I'm excited. I'm gonna have to cut the cord because we have one last really great demo. So yeah, I mean, if you have more questions, go to their documentation page. It's listed in the well, okay, you know, maybe on Sunday, go to their documentation pages. They're in the description of the YouTube. But great job, Garden Sensor Array.
RGB gaming.
Oh boy, really great job. All right, SmartSpeech, whenever you're ready, you can just come on over. Half hour. You guys went there.
We need to join the Zoom, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna first check that the volume works.
Should work. Don't connect the audio. Disconnect.
Yeah. But it'll still work?
Yeah,
they did it earlier.
Trust.
Okay. Wait, connect the audio. Yeah, no, that's 3:30.
Oh,
it's on the Discord.
That's the thing. Real world data.
Because the online ones, yeah. Y'all good? Great.
Yeah, me too.
I'm nervous. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully that's the question at the end, and I can be like, oh yeah, I messed up the group. That's YouTube. That's YouTube. I got this. Thank you, Goat.
No, I was like,
Oh my God, we gotta just sign in with SSO. Sign in.
No.
Oh right, that's the template.
And then you got to do duo because you know.
Oh,
chords.
Yep.
Generic smartphone. Yep.
Oh, you got till Sunday. You can put all those changes. You got it?
Oh, you do the phone one?
Yeah, why do you not have a text?
No audio.
Share the screen. Don't dig too deep. Don't dig too deep. You go any deeper.
His legs are shaking, bro.
Yeah. But it's okay because you're already.
We already know. Greg,
We're live.
That one's one of my best. That one's one of my best.
All right, Professor.
Please do.
All right, so we're ready.
You ready? All right, everyone.
All right, guys, we're SmartSpeech. You know, I've seen so many presentations in this room over the past few years, but it feels super weird being on the speaker side. So, you know, so we're SmartSpeech. We're going to be talking about an app that helps people with disabilities like autism speak. So, yeah, so there are a lot of nonverbal autistic children that, you know, can't speak, so they have to use technology to do so. And this is the premier technology that they would be using, right? So the way this works is that they have to find tiles on this board and they would have to click them to form a sentence or phrase to kind of express themselves to the world, right? So for example, if I wanted to eat, I would have to find, you know, right? Then I'd have to go through all these tiles, find eat, and then find the item that I would like to eat, right? So maybe, you know, I want to eat a potato, maybe, right? So the whole premise here is that these menus are very overwhelming, right? There's 60 tiles on here, and then each of these have folder tiles, right? So there's tiles inside tiles. Super complex to use, right?
Paper towel.
So yeah, so our whole premise is to get rid of these menus and make it easier for them to speak, right? So, you know, and yeah, so I'm going to pass it off to Anthony, who's going to demonstrate the primary differentiator of our product.
All right, so I'm Anthony. Let me show you guys Project SmartSpeech. I'm gonna head over to our website over here. And while you can use the website normally, we can actually use it as a progressive web app. So I'm gonna show you guys how we go ahead and install that. We're gonna click on the share button. We're gonna click add to home screen, and it creates a name, the app logo for you. So once we have that on there, we do that again. There we go. We can open it up. We're going to give it camera access. And once you get to the main screen, this is a little welcome screen to let you know about some features we'll talk about later. I'm going to make sure we don't show that again. And I'm going to shut off our camera. Now, one of the key facilitators of this app is the ability to recognize a drawing and to suggest it as a tile. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys that feature. So the first thing that I'll draw for you guys today is I will draw you a butterfly. So if we do this right here, we go ahead and draw this. Whoops. And we have that recognized. Something else that we could do is we could draw a house. Now, I'm drawing this. If I want to draw a door and I make a little mistake here, I can actually go back and I can remove that. And I can finish drawing my door for my house, which is recognized. On top of that, we do have an eraser button, so we can erase everything just with the click of a button. Something else I'll draw for you guys here is I'll draw you a finger. And it is recognized. So the next feature that I'm going to show you guys is the audio. So when you see a tile here, you can click on it and you can select it, and it can actually be spoken.
Finger.
So we can actually add multiple tiles and we can have it spoken very clearly, and we can have it spoken out like a sentence.
Finger door.
So we have that feature for you. You can remove things. And I will pass this on for the next feature to Landon.
Thank you, Anthony. So there is another way to signal to SmartSpeech what you would like to say. So the camera can be turned on again, and if I point the camera at this cup, maybe I want to say something about this cup, it should find it.
See the table.
Yeah, it does fall as well.
Sorry.
Yeah, Susie wearing the shirt as well.
So what it is doing, it is taking pictures of the environment, and it's picking out a few objects that it thinks are important. It has now found that cup is important, so I think the cup is recognized. And you have also seen that it also brings up words like shirt, face. Sometimes that's because it is checking both cameras. It is alternating between the cameras. So if I point the face cam at myself, it should see my shirt. There we go.
Shirt.
Now, if you want to say a word, a more complicated word, like maybe a verb, are, I'm not sure how I would draw that, and there's no object in the room that could be used to represent are. So as a backup, we do have a full manual board that can be accessed in the bottom right. This is based on the more traditional AAC app that you saw featured at the start of this presentation. So if I wanted to say R, I can navigate here.
R.
And you can say the
Cup
whole
shirt R.
Now I'm going to pass the tablet on to Cynthia, who will talk to you about some user customization.
Okay, so when users are viewing the manual board, they realize like there probably won't be as many tiles. They're limited tiles, especially for users like caregivers. So there, no worries about that because we have a solution for that. So you actually can hold down the manual button, which you can access the login button right here to sign in. And we have Facebook, GitHub, and we have Google. And we're gonna do sign in by Google. And then I'm gonna sign it real quick. If I can spell, that'd be great. Smart. Oh, I can't spell.
Me neither.
It's just an, oh my god, no, I really can't spell. I'm sorry.
It's technically correct.
Technically, not really.
No.
Okay.
It's also
I should not make the long password too.
guys.
This might take a while. Yep, it might take a
I don't know. For security purposes.
Yes, I'm just showing you guys how it works. It doesn't. See, it tells you it doesn't work. That was my plan all along. Sorry. Okay. So now we're into the custom tiles you can make. Users can add their own input for text, sound, and also like their own images and tile colors. So let's go add our own tiles. Let's add a laptop or something. Okay, so I'm gonna type in the word laptop for the text that we want to display. And then we wanted to say laptop. And then you didn't pick a color. Yellow. I already know. Okay, and then we can choose photos from our photo libraries, or to take a photo, and we can also choose files. So I'm gonna choose a laptop.
Nice.
And then we can click the word submit and it'll display on top. And there's the laptop tile. And then we can actually play the sound, the audio, by clicking play sound.
Laptop.
But oh no, what if I did the wrong tile and I want to delete it? How do I do that? We click the remove tile button, just like that. And then after that, when users want to see the tiles that are in the manual tile, oh my god, manual board, you can access that by going to the home page. And then go to the manual board. And it should be in custom tiles. Oh, why am I showing to you guys right there? Okay. And click the custom tiles and it will be right there. There should be SmartSpeech.
SmartSpeech.
Another AirPods.
AirPods.
Thank you.
Cool. And then I'd like to take it over and just talk about the future of SmartSpeech. So we are really happy with where we got this app. We actuated on pretty much everything that we wanted to do, but one feature that didn't end up making it into our final demo was a tile suggestion feature that would basically take input from the drawing, from the camera, and then from that recent tiles tab and the suggested tiles tab, and try and predict what tile the user might want next. It would just help make sentence building a lot more fluid. You wouldn't have to tap as many buttons. We weren't really happy with where we got it, but we're very excited to add that in our next iteration. And then another thing that we would love to add is some increased accessibility settings. So we're all about accessibility with this app. We use pictures as much as possible. Anytime that we can replace a word with a picture, as you can see, all of our buttons are images. We would love to do that, but there is some text on it, and some people may have trouble reading the font color or the font size or the style. So just adding some user settings to be able to change all that would be really nice. And I mean, the more customization, the better. Some people might not want the recent tiles button, so adding the option to remove that could also help. So just some added accessibility features would be really nice. But overall, we're really happy with where we got. So yeah, we're really happy.
Okay, that concludes our demo. We hope you enjoyed it, and we're gonna open the floor for some questions. Thank you.
It's fantastic. So many questions. You know what? Let's leave it. Does the audience have questions? Oh, you do.
Like actually,
Oh yeah.
how did you do the image recognition?
So I can answer that for you. So currently we have about 50 different images that can be recognized, and it uses a convolutional neural network to do so. It's actually stored on the user's device, so it's lightweight enough. It doesn't have to be communicated over the cloud. It can work offline as well. But yeah, that's the architecture of our model, is a convolutional neural network.
Can I throw one more question?
Yeah, go for it.
Kind of in that. So for those custom tiles, is that something that'll also be recognized, or do you think that you could?
No, just because training a neural network requires so many training samples, you would have to draw it over and over, and it wouldn't really work out.
That's for sure.
What did you use to make your neural network?
I used TensorFlow, and then we implemented it with TensorFlow JS.
And also, what was your text-to-speech program that you used?
It was a service called 11 Labs.
Oh, got it.
For your CNN, how many layers were you using, and what made you decide like how to build that network?
So we're working with image recognition here, and CNNs are commonly used for that. So I kind of just approached that task in that way. To answer your question about the actual architecture, there's 3 convolutional layers, and then there's 2 dense layers. On our documentation, you can see the actual implementation of the model and the size and everything.
Thank you.
Was this inspired at all from the Google Dictionary thing?
Yes, so that's the data we use. We
That's
use
what I
Google
thought.
QuickDraw, which is honestly the only online large sketch database that we could find.
Right.
That's
you,
another-
you guys did your own training.
We did our own training, yes,
Cool.
yeah. But I'll just say this, that's one of the limitations of the project, is that there's only so many images that we can train on because of the data that we have. So something that we want to do in the future to extend that is we want to kind of create some sort of crowdsourcing for people to create, to help us assist with drawings and giving us training data.
Yeah. I wonder, like how they have those new AIs where you give like a sample of a voice, and then
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could do that with the sketches too.
You probably could with a variation.
That would be crazy. Yeah, it's next level.
Yeah.
Do you guys use any libraries to improve accessibility for the web, or do you ever plan on any libraries in particular, like Radix UI or anything?
I think we use a lot of the Radix icons. That's what some of the icons in the top right are, but that's definitely something that we would like to improve on. We made it as accessible as possible without compromising the rest of the app, but that is something that we would love to improve on.
Did you guys do any UX testing on anyone, or were you able to have access to that during the semester?
We did not, but that's a great idea.
So for in terms of accessibility, there is a possibility that somebody may not be able to tap on the screen or move a mouse. Have you guys thought about using analog inputs such as something like a controller, or say like somebody's in a wheelchair? Is that something that's possible?
No, but now that you say it, yes.
It seems obvious. As soon as you said it, I immediately,
Yeah.
that's a great idea.
You know, it's funny with accessibility apps, right? You know, there's only so much reach that you can go. So their target, you know, they're like, you know, that this target needs almost like fine motor skills, but they don't have the ability to speak or read. So, you know, as you narrow and narrow, I mean, it could expand, but it's good to think in those
The
ways.
potential of this is,
Yeah.
I really like accessibility based products, making them popular and recognizing. I think that this has a lot.
Shout out to the human computer interaction lab.
Yeah, for the research idea.
Yeah, yeah.
So on the GitHub page, I saw that you guys listed AWS recognition, which is like a machine learning thing. Did you guys end up using that for like computer vision?
Yeah, so recognition is used to find objects in the environment, but it is not good at drawing images, right? So it can't pick up on the canvas images, but it can pick up the environment. So the procedure we have currently is that you hold up the iPad and every few seconds it will switch the front camera and the back camera, and it'll like, you know, send those images over to recognition to find all the relevant objects in the room.
So the CNN is for the hand drawn, and then the recognition is for actual.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have the ability to add custom tiles. Do you have the ability to save like custom phrases as well? Like commonly used phrases, do you have to like select each and every tile?
Okay, yes. So yes, for right now, but there's a way around that. So say you have a custom phrase that you use often, right? You could just save that as a custom tile, right? Because we have the ability to save a phrase that is associated with a tile. So you could just save the tile. But yeah, it would save a lot of people a lot of work if we just added phrase saving it.
So I'm just gonna check YouTube here. So one of the first questions was, did you get any feedback or have you tested with the target demographic? And yeah.
So we haven't tested with a demographic, and you know, part of that is because it took the whole 4 sprints to make the app, but also testing with that audience takes a lot of IRB, takes a lot of approval, and testing with human subjects takes a lot of time. So we did not have time for the Temple IRB board to review anything, so we decided not to.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a future endeavor,
Right.
for sure. Did you work on this project mostly in person or online? If so, what do you think are some advantages or disadvantages to that over working predominantly in the other way?
We did a lot of work in person. I mean, obviously, everybody does work at home, so that's online, but a lot of the project meetings were in person. And I personally, I mean, I made a bunch of friends in this project. I don't think I would have if it was online. So I personally way prefer in person. And just being able to like say, hey guys, like this weekend, let's finish out sprint 3. Like we're 40 points over. We gotta get that burn down chart. And it's more fun. And then we had like a Thanksgiving like hangout, which is a lot of fun too. So I think it just helps to meet people and just be more personal. So yeah, mostly in person.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, so something I'd like to add to his answer is that, you know, like if you don't know the people working as, you know, side by side with you, you can't really ask them to do extra work, right?
Yeah. Sounds like you cracked the whip there.
It's true. It's true.
Oh, man. Oh man. So I have some questions on like basically going forward stuff, like the scalability of training further into the future to like increase the drawing recognition. Like, what is like the amount of data that you think you would need in order to make this more of like a quote unquote perfect system?
So based off of what we have right now, what we're using as our reference number for the number of samples for each item, we need probably about 5,000 drawings to add something new. And along with that, though, there would have to be like a lot of work into assessing the quality of each drawing and making sure that it can be used and it's not something people, you know, are kind of just like trolling you online with. So yeah, that's the, like the base number I'll give you. It's around 5,000.
And so I just want to add on to that. That was something that we considered in the very first sprint was, should we have a companion app where we allow people to submit drawings for training? And we decided, like you said, it was just not worth it. It would be too much to accept the drawings, review the drawings, and then also train the network on new drawings that we don't know if they work.
I just have one recommendation. If you want to try that, you could create an application that's a game, that's a guessing game. They don't put the drawing up. You get points for getting it right. If it matches, that's a positive. If not enough people match it, that's a negative for the drawing on the ground.
I really like that actually.
I can do
SmartSpeech
it.
capture.
Just let me know. I'll work on it.
Smart drawing.
I was watching a YouTube video last night about the guy who was trained in to play Minecraft. And I was just wondering, is there any potential for this to be used with like non-human like test subjects as well, like to see like how chimpanzees could communicate?
I think that there are apps that would be better for that because of the more like the one we showed earlier was called Cough Drop, and they have a much, it's complicated, which we aim to solve, but I think it would be easier to train something like a chimpanzee on a larger board rather than teaching it how to draw on a tablet. So I think that's not the right application for this.
Are there any content filters?
On the custom tiles?
I think that's what they're referring to.
I think that
What do you
Unlimited
mean, like
Labs has a built-in.
feelings? Like there's different sections.
Yeah,
and
so
then
for
we
that
go
que-
to.
oh,
sorry.
sorry.
Hang on.
Yeah, I think as Anthony was going to say, the text-to-speech service we use has their own content filtering, so you can't get it to say curse words and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that's actually something we should probably consider because you can probably save a tile with the curse word and it just won't say it.
Is that an option on the Legend Labs? Because I know you can get on the Legend Labs, I swear.
Maybe it might be enableable.
Should we try it?
Ooh, we're in the dark hole here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a question.
Is there like a limit to the amount of tiles you put in one sentence?
I don't think so.
There's no upper limit.
Okay. What about like custom tiles? Is there like a length limit, or can you have it be whatever you want?
There is not currently a length limit, but you should add that in so people don't like add their entire Google Docs homework as a tile.
Yeah, so do you plan on working this going forward?
I don't think our AWS bill would like that, but
Oh yeah, if Temple would pay for the AWS bill, then yes.
Okay, okay, or maybe the HCI left,
Yeah.
but yeah, no.
Just do what we did and use his account without him knowing.
Yeah. Yep. Andy. Thank you for that one. Is everyone just mooching off of me? Is that apparently?
That's
Yeah, so
true.
our whole thing is backed by the cloud. So all of our containers, all of our load balancers, each and every part of the infrastructure is on AWS. So that puts us to the bill. But last month's bill, it was 20% recognition.
Yeah.
Right. So
That sounds about right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
What containerization method did you opt for? Did you opt for like AWS Fargate or Lambda?
Yeah, so we're using ECS Fargate and it's listening on the load. So if if each person in this room hops on this application, it's going to spawn more containers to handle the load. But currently it's backed by 2 containers. So if one container goes down by someone, drawing something crazy, the second one is there to take over.
What made you opt for like okay in scaling, right? So is it one container to like each user, or is it one container with like a load balancer?
Okay. So yeah, so our backend is stateless, so it's irrelevant how many containers to user, right? So 10 people could be using the resources of one container since the backend is stateless, right? And it would only scale if the utilization hits 70% or more.
Nice.
Right. So if the container is getting stressed, it's going to call its friends, please
Yeah.
I need help. So yeah,
So
that's how that works.
What does that that backend actually do? Because I know you mentioned that the drawing recognition happens on device. What actually happens there?
Okay. So to not make too many single points of failure, there's obviously the on-device recognition, but then the backend also does a recognition, which is the environment recognition, and it also does the custom tiles, the voicing. But the voicing, to make that not a single point of failure, it's cached. So anytime someone says something, it's then uploaded to an S3 bucket. So if the backend ever goes down, the S3 bucket can be used as a backup in case you want to, still have the voice opportunity.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
That's really robust for like how early you are.
Yeah,
Very
exactly.
real.
Yeah.
Good question.
Yeah.
Consider EKS as opposed to ECS.
Okay, so with ECS, it's Kubernetes, and I don't want to spend multiple hours configuring like HTTP certificates, setting up all the containers and pods and everything. So I just went with Fargate, and with Fargate, it's as easy as saying this many CPUs, this many RAM to set up a cluster, and then each container will be spawned off the cluster.
I feel like this was overkill.
Yep.
I feel like this is what you do once you get like your Series A funding and you're about to pop off. But like right now, you guys are in like early age prototyping. You should like bootstrap a little bit.
Well, that's actually an
It's
interesting
easier.
point.
Yeah.
So like, were there any sort of limiting factors in thinking about these cases? You clearly were thinking in larger scale early. Were there a lot of like limitations to that thinking, or how did that affect the development?
Right. So for the cloud stuff, I'm obviously learning as I go. So as soon as I learn about something new, I try to do it. So I didn't know about containers before this, right? So learning containers, learning ECS, not EKS. So many AWS random acronyms. Right? So part of why on the stuff is so robust is because I try to just do the thing I just learned. And obviously, I was learning cloud while doing this project, so I added a bunch of those things in.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. You guys are superstars.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
If you do this for real though, like scale that back into like actual funding.
Well, actually, what would be the theoretical bill if we were to let's say, put it into a lab with 30 kids?
Okay. Well, so this can handle 30 kids right now.
Yeah.
And the current bill is probably $80 a month. But 30 of those dollars goes to RDS, which is what hosts the custom tiles. And that would be the main thing that I would like to move away from Amazon with, right? Yeah. Rather just use some sort of Firebase or something. Because the data,
is free, right?
Firebase is free for low tier. Yeah.
Interesting.
Not even the higher tiers are that expensive. That's better. Yeah.
Oh, also,
really fast.
the reason why so much stuff is on Amazon is because a lot of the things can be protected with Amazon IAM. So I'd rather just not have security leaks and just protect everything through IAM than having to, do security procedures on each component like Firebase or something.
Yeah. Honestly, as far as bills go for maybe a lab portion, that should be within a budget. That's not bad. I think VPS hosting is is probably more. I don't know. But that's everybody else. Everyone's whoa.
AI startup, they'll get the money.
Yeah, AI startup, they'll get the money. Yep, Y Combinator. Wow. Well. Let me just make sure. Yeah. I think you've been questioned out. I think. Yeah. No. I think I'm questioned out. This has been amazing, and I hope you continue and hope you work with me on it in the future. We're really nice. So
He wants money.
I don't want money.
What's citations?
I want citations. Yep. You heard it here on YouTube first. Well, honestly, round of applause for SmartSpeech. I'm just gonna here. 38 cents. I just want to thank everyone who came today because this is the first time we're doing it in person in Circ 306. Honestly, it's only the second time that I've done these Capstone demos in person. So this is a pretty big deal. So in person is back or is here. Really exciting stuff. No, thank you for taking time out of your day. Thank you to everyone that showed up on YouTube. Your energy is incredible. The alumni support, it's amazing. So thank you. And I hope you come to see the next one. If you still have the energy for it. We've got we have 3 more demos from 3:40 to 5 on YouTube. Just go to capstone.ianapplebaum.com, hit section 3, and you'll be right in there. But yeah, amazing work, everyone. Yeah. Woo! All right, with that, I am going to close the stream. You graduated now.